Well, that's the interesting thing. Not loads of people have keys to your data. There's only essentially one key to that data, and the business about having a private distributed ledger, which is what we're working with, is those keys are very, very, very carefully controlled. So only the owner of the data can have access to that key. Now they can delegate, they can give permission to other people to access that and not share that key, but it's like you having a set of keys to your house, yeah, and you may have a copy of that key, but you give it to a trusted person who you say, you can have it for the weekend you're staying here, but when you leave, I want the key back. Yeah?
And they can't cut it?
They can't cut it, they can't do anything to reproduce it. It's so secure that there's no way, because of the inbuilt measures that particularly companies like Gospel have put around the protection of keys, that it's impossible to copy these keys and be able to access, because you have to have both contexts.
Right. So Reuben, what have you put around these keys?
So from our perspective, we've moved beyond this. If you look at how people have used blockchain up to now, it's very much been around peer-to-peer data sharing. That means I send data to Stuart. I use Stuart's public key, which is if you imagine it's something that allows me to encrypt something but not decrypt it. I send it to Stuart, who has a private key. He can decrypt it, and it can prove that it's come from me. Now that's very, very peer-to-peer. It's from me to you. Now, what Gospel does is it goes beyond that, and it starts making collective decisions about who can read what between the participants, the companies or people involved, together about whether we're following the rules that we've agreed. And it gives everybody the assurance that data has only been used in the manner for which has been agreed. If we've agreed that Stuart can I don't know, see what furniture I have in a room, for that purpose he wouldn't, for instance, be able to count the light bulbs, because it's not part of that equation. It can only be used for a certain purpose in a certain way in certain circumstances. And there's an immutable history, as we were talking about before, a history that can't be changed, of everything that everybody's written and read. And that movement into security around reads in this manner is very unique to what we're doing.
I think that analogy you've just used is really interesting, because I think that's why it's very difficult for people to grasp what's really behind the distributed ledger. The distributed ledger is one thing, but the permissions is what's really interesting.